here's something strange. There's a weird yet scientifically proven connection between Kerala and Africa. If you look at a map of Madagascar, that island off of the coast of Africa, you'll find a gap in its mountains. It's called the Ranotsara Gap. Now, here's the strange part. That gap fits perfectly into the Western Ghats of Kerala, like two pieces of a puzzle. And this isn't just coincidence, this is a 90 million year old secret about where we come from. The story of Palakkad Gap. Okay, so Kerala has been called many things, right? Goats on country, the land of spices, a paradise between sea and mountains, a lot of things. But here's what most Malayalis don't know. The reason Kerala became Kerala, the reason we are who we are, comes down to a 30 kilometers gap in a mountain range. Look at a map of India. Run your finger along the western coast, from Gujarat all the way down to Kanyakumari. You will see a mountain range that's hugging the coast. The Western Ghats, 1,600 kilometers of continuous towering mountains. Now, these mountains are older than the Himalayas, much older actually. Now, here's the thing. For almost the entire length of this range, the mountains are unbroken, dense and impenetrable, except in one place. In Palakkad, right there between the Nilgiris to the north and Anamalai Hills to the south, the mountains simply disappear. A gap opens up, about 30 kilometers wide, just 140 meters above the sea level. This is the Palakkad Gap. And this single geographical feature has shaped Kerala more than any king, any war, or any empire that it has seen. But to understand why this gap exists, we have to go way back to a time before India was India. You see, 500 million years ago, there was no India, there was no Kerala, there was no Arabian Sea. There was only Gondwana, the supercontinent, one massive landmass that held together what we now call as Africa, South America, Antarctica, Australia, and of course, India. Picture it, about 150 million years ago, Gondwana started breaking apart, slowly at the speed of about 6 centimeters a year. India began drifting away from Africa. Madagascar stayed close to Africa for a while longer, but India kept moving, floating like an island in an ancient sea called Tethys. For nearly 100 million years, India drifted alone until it crashed into Asia and pushed up the Himalayas. But before that collision, something else happened. About 88 million years ago, as India passed over a volcanic hotspot, the Marion hotspot as it's called, the pressure built up beneath the land. And the connection between India and Madagascar began to unzip. The Western Ghats rose on the Indian side. The Angavo Mountains rose on the Madagascar side. And the point where they tore apart, that point is the Palakkad Gap of today. The Ranotsara Gap in Madagascar is its twin actually. Two moons from the same separation, still visible after 88 million years. French geologists Yuri Gunnel and David Harbour published this finding in 2008. They showed that the topography of the Palakkad Gap matches the Ranotsara Gap almost exactly. One gap in Kerala, one gap in Madagascar, separated by an ocean, but once the same place. And here's where it gets fascinating. When scientists compare the plants and animals of Madagascar, they expect to find African species, isn't it? Obviously. After all, Madagascar is just off of the coast of Africa, but they don't. Madagascar's biodiversity resembles India more than Africa. The frogs, the trees, the ancient species, many of them have closer relatives in the Western Ghats than in the African mainland right next door to them. Why? Because for millions of years, Madagascar and India were one, connected, sharing species and evolving together. And when they split, each carried its biological inheritance. So when you walk through the forests of Western Ghats, when you see the unique frogs found only on one side of the Palakkad Gap, when you notice how different the flora is north and south of Palakkad, you're looking at the legacy of Gondwana, the ancient supercontinent. A connection to Africa, a memory of Madagascar, written in the rocks and rivers and species of Kerala. And this is not just geology, this is identity. We are in some ancient sense children of Africa. But that's not just it. The Palakkad Gap might have influenced the whole culture and history of Kerala in ways that we cannot even imagine. Because it protected Kerala. For thousands of years, Kerala was naturally shielded, a wall of mountains on the east, the Arabian Sea on the west. and no easy way in by land. While North India faced wave after wave of invasions, the Mughals, the Sultanates, the raids from the northwest, Kerala remained relatively untouched. Not because we were stronger, not because we had some grand military strategy, but because of pure geography. The mountains were our silent guardians. This isolation did something profound. It gave Kerala time to develop its own unique social systems undisturbed. Time to evolve Kathakali and Kudiyattam, time to build temple traditions found nowhere else in the world. Even time to nurture a matrilineal system like the Marumakatayam. While the rest of India was absorbing and adapting to constant change, Kerala was quietly becoming different. And here's the part many of us don't even realize. For centuries, our deepest cultural connections didn't come from the rest of India, they came from the sea. Arabs came by boat, Romans arrived by boat, Jews, Syrians, Chinese, all by sea. And Kerala's identity was shaped more by traders who crossed oceans than by neighbors just across the mountains. And the Palakkad Gap, that was the only land bridge. The Bharatapuzha River, the Nila, originates in this very gap. It carried commerce and culture into the heart of Kerala. But for armies, for the longest time, no major land invasion succeeded until 1766. Hyder Ali of Mysore did something no conqueror had done before. He marched through the Palakkad Gap. It was the first major land invasion Kerala had ever fixed. Think about that. While the rest of India had endured centuries of invasions, Kerala's first came only in the 18th century, and it came through that one gap. Hyder Ali built a fort in Palakkad. It still stands today. We call it the Tipu's Fort. That fort was a statement. Whoever controls the gap controls the door to Kerala. And there's more. Even today, Palakkad feels different. The culture, the accent, the food, more of Tamil influence. Because that doorway has always been open. Historical records show that the Brahmin communities migrated through this gap between the 15th and 18th century. They settled along the Nila River Valley. Their temples and traditions shaped what we now call as classical Kerala. One gap, 30 kilometers, 500 million years of history. Here's what I find fascinating. You see, we Malayalis often wonder why we are different. Why our culture doesn't quite match the rest of India, at least in some ways. The answer, in part, is geography. We were protected, we were isolated, we were connected to the sea more than to the land. And when the land connection finally mattered, when armies wandered in, when empires looked south, they all had to come through that one narrow doorway. The Palakkad Gap. Most of us drive through Palakkad today without even having a thought about this. We don't realize we are passing through the single most important geographical feature in Kerala's history, the doorway that was mostly closed. Next time you're in Palakkad, or next time you look at a map, notice that gap, the break in the mountains. It's not just a mountain pass, it's the reason Kerala exists the way it does. It's the reason you are who you are. It's our ancient connection to a world that broke apart 88 million years ago. Some secrets are hidden in plain sight, and this one has been sitting there all along, waiting for us to notice until now. If you have more information on this topic, please do share in the comments or share it with another knowledgeable person. The links to verifiable sources to the claims I just made in this video are available in the description. See you in another video. This is Mani Karthik signing off.